Welcome to another episode of Locked On Baylor, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm your host, Cam Stewart of ESPN Central Texas. Thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. The Bears go out and they make a big money move over the late and latter half of the weekend. And I think it's a move that potentially puts them into the top 5 in the country next year. We've been banging on the door of, hey, these are the guys you need to bring in the transfer portal. And for the second time in this cycle, Scott Drew goes out and lands one that I think none of us really expected. Because the big news Sunday night is that Norchad Omier of Miami, the double-double machine that is Norchad Omier, is now a Baylor Bear. Wow. This was one that I was not really expecting. I am pleasantly surprised because Omier's a terrific player. I just thought, and you probably heard it on the show the last couple of days of, all right, forward needs to be a wing who can shoot, and a center needs to be 6'10", rim runner. And what you got in Norchad Omier is a little bit of both and a little bit of both positions. I'll get this out of the way. He's not a knockdown shooter, Omier, but he did shoot 35% from 3 last year. So like that's something. I mean, he's not lost out there. He's not Caleb Lohner out there, but he's also not Jalen Bridges. What he is an ultra athletic, small ball big, which we talked about with Isaac Trotter in the show last week on Friday. And he's a guy who plays above his 6'7" frame, can rebound the heck out of the ball. I mean, one of the best rebounders for his size in the entire country last year at a high major level in the ACC, and is a guy that, like I said, gives you a little bit of all of that, a little bit of 3-point shooting, but a lot of grit, some good defensive isolation play, and a whole lot of rebounding and a whole lot of rim running. I mean, we're talking about a guy that averages 17 and 10 a year ago in the ACC. That's a major pickup. You know, I kind of said the same thing about Jeremy Roach. Like, how many guys do you find out there that are averaging 14 points a game at a high major level and are available in the transfer portal? Said the same thing about Jonas Adu. He was close to averaging a double-double. And so you're like, how many guys do you find out there that are all SEC and can almost average a double-double? What you did find is someone who was all ACC and did average a double-double, including in conference play, 17 and 10 overall. Those numbers didn't dip in the conference. He was 16 and 10. This is massive for the Bears, who we all took offense to the ACC, Brad Brownell calling out the Big 12 and saying that the ACC is better. We took offense to it. Then we got the business end of it in the tournament, losing to Clemson. And so all Baylor does is just get 2 guys off the All-ACC team last year in Norchad Omier and Jeremy Roach. But looking at that, just saying that he's All-ACC, Norchad Omier, is not saying enough. He's All-ACC back-to-back years in the 2 years he was in the conference. This guy's rise has been incredible. He started at Arkansas State and did 2 years there, 2 years at Miami. And like every year it gets better. The competition gets better. The expectations get higher. And he just keeps getting better. His numbers get better. And so you look at, back-to-back all ACC teams, second team this year after being third team the year before. He was the Sun Belt Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year in 2022. His 2 years in the conference, he was all first team both times. So again, that being a star and not leveling off, getting better, taking the next step and getting better. And 2023, you remember that year? It wasn't that long ago. You remember something that Miami Hurricanes did? They beat the Texas Longhorns and went to the Final Four. So you added 2 All-ACC guys in this transfer portal window, and both of them have played in a Final Four on top of being all conference guys. This is not no disrespect, but it's not like adding someone like a Flo Thamba, who did win a national championship and was a big part of that. But you are bringing in some of the biggest impact players on Final Four teams. And this year, he just did it all. And look, Miami did not have a great year this year, not by any stretch. They were down near the bottom of the ACC. They lost a lot from that championship team or that Final Four team. But what Norchad Omier did was put the team on his back. He led the team in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, blocks, and steals. Good Lord, man. What can this guy not do? And I think that's a big part of the last couple of those, the blocks and the steals on top of the rebounding and shooting well. This guy can defend. He defends bigger than 6'7". He's got the grit of a guy I was talking about like Cliff Amori. That kind of almost Mark Vital level grit that Baylor needs. He's got it at 6'7" and long. Is he going to be a center for 35 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game? No, he can play small ball center for you and can play power forward and maybe even a bit of a stretch forward because of that 35% from three. But I don't want him to, he's not like a huge 3-point shooter, but you can fit him in at any one of those positions. And so now I wonder, how important is a center? We talked about it with Isaac Trotter last week. Like, you can, in this offense, the way Baylor plays, you can have a small ball big like Norchad Omier playing, 10, 12 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game as the five. And Josh O can fill the rest of that. I still think they do probably add a center because they have the room. But man, what an addition for the Bears. Like, we're talking about winning the offseason kind of stuff with this Baylor team. I don't know, man. I was not seeing this coming. Let me know if y'all were. Drop that down in the comments below if you were. But I just did not see this Norchad Omier bus coming. But what a huge pickup. Scott Drew wins again. Scott Drew wins again. Keeps this thing. No huge hype around it. Not like Adu. Keeps this thing on the down low. And all of a sudden, into your living room Sunday night, one of the best players in the transfer portal is coming to Baylor. An all-conference guy, a Final Four player, performer, an elite rebounder, a terrific scorer, all of those things coming to your team. And speaking of the rebounding, because I knew he was a good rebounder, I couldn't believe this stat. So offensive rebounding is a big part of Baylor's game, right? We've known it since that national championship team, or even the year before in 2020. They were an excellent offensive rebounding team. That's what led them to so much success. How about this? 4 years in college basketball. 4 years in college basketball. Norchad Omier has led the conference in offensive rebounding percentage 4 times. 4 times. Led the conference in total rebound percentage 3 of his 4 years, and in defensive rebounding percentage 3 of his 4 years. This guy is incredible. He's incredible. There is Mark Vital there with even more scoring touch, or some scoring touch. Like, this is incredible, man. A double-double machine, a guy who averages a double-double in the ACC, which is supposedly a better conference than the Big 12. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring on these preseason rankings, I say. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. We really appreciate that. And if you want to keep up to date on all the Baylor sports news, be sure to give us a like and ring the notification bell, because we are your first listen today and every day. We are your exclusive home for nothing but Baylor sports content 5 days a week that's not coming straight from the university. Be sure to follow us here on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts, and on Twitter as well at Locked On Baylor. Thanks so much again. Have a good one, and sick 'em.